Okay, here we are.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to, I need to put it somewhere. It's, live on Tuesday.
Yep, live on Tuesday, 26th of January. I can't believe we're at the end of the month already.
Yeah.
I don't know where the time's gone. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's the 14th session. 14th session, yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, if someone is joining us today, you have a bit of a catch-up to do.
Yeah. Okay.
It's fine.
Good. Hi, Facebook user. So we can't see your name. So, yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, I will probably display the chat. So, yeah, welcome. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Michael, Eli, David,
Walter,
or Harry. We have a new Harry inside as well.
Yeah.
Yes, so as usual, we start with the Q&A session based on what you've done this week. If you have any questions, any feedback, any comments, or you want to discuss marketing stuff with us, so it's now is the right time. It can be based on what you've done. So, hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Based on what you have done this week or what you're planning to do. And yeah, anything. I mean, it can be a question or it can just be like your feedback on the results you get. For example, we know Michael got like close to 10 trial signups in the past few days.
That's really good. Really good.
So that's really good. You're doing something right. Now we don't have the number, so we don't know, how many leads you got and your conversion rate from leads to signups. We don't know which funnel you use, but yeah, that's the kind of info that would be useful, especially in the Facebook group, so people can interact with all of us. We're still a small group, which is fine. We don't want to be too big because then we can't really help on a one-to-one level. But still, it's useful to get some information from our members. Otherwise, it's just us feeding information, and we don't have that feedback loop we mentioned quite like every week. So important to share what you're doing, and when you get to the results, if you're willing to share what you've been doing, what worked, what did not work. Yeah. So I will just display the chat so we can all have a look.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy this week as well. We're talking about the newsletter training course. We've put together a bit of a sales letter, which we're going to go over today. It's not complete because we want your feedback on it as well, and some of your ideas, and let's see what we can come up with together. But it's most of the component parts are there. It still needs a little bit of tweaking, which is really the whole reason that this mentoring program is here, so we can get all of that sort of stuff done and together. We can push forwards with that. So we're going to go through that as well after today's Q&A session.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got some more solos. Sorry, JP. We've got some more solos going. I've got one running as we speak that is sending in traffic, which is on this spreadsheet, which is on this screen here. You can't see it, but it's on. So I'm looking at it right now. So yeah, we've been really pushing through this stuff because it works. And it's something that is very simple to do. It's pretty much all automated, other than ordering traffic if you're using Udemy or something like that, which takes 20 minutes maximum. It's pretty much automated, and it's just really just a matter of looking at your results, your conversion rates, and your open rates and click-through rates, and that sort of stuff, really, and then doing some split testing. So really, once everything is in place, you've got your funnels running, and you've got traffic going through to your funnels, and you've got trials coming in. It's really just a matter of identifying where the bottlenecks are, where and how you can optimize and improve things, and that's pretty much what we're doing. And that's really all you've got to do once it's done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know if you have any questions, or if you don't, we can just go through the next steps for the newsletter course. And this week it would be how to craft a sales page. So if you have any questions, just I also wanted to check something. Yeah, so no questions. So I think, Paul, we can move on with the sales page.
We should just get stuck into it. Okay, so we've got a bit of a formula that we use when we're putting sales pages together. So we kind of want to go through that with you today with a kind of a live example of one that we've written specifically for the newsletter course. So let me share my screen with you. Bear with me, and hopefully this doesn't freeze everything. Right, so tell me when you can see my screen. Let me just change. Okay, so that's the traffic. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is, can you all see that? Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
I can't see any chat, JP, at all. I can't see anything.
No, chat, I'm handling it. No, don't worry.
Okay, that's good. All right, guys, so as you can see on the screen right now, what we've got is a sales letter. I've written it sort of using a big font, really, again, just for the ease so we can all see it. So as you can see, it runs through about 12 pages. So it's kind of like a long form sales letter, if you like, but it follows a very specific structure, really, one that is tried and tested. Lots of really big marketers use the same sort of process as this. So we kind of wanted to go through this. Let me just, before we go into the specifics of each section, really, of the newsletter, I just kind of wanted to show you the component parts of it. So what we've got really here on page 1, as you can see, is a headline and a sub-headline here. And then kind of get into the story, really, if you like, which is kind of problem solution based, which kind of identifies what the problems are, but it also leads in really nicely from the headline and the subheading as well. So we've got quite a bit in here about the problems. And then we talk about people's lives, and so there's lots of inclusion statements here, so people feel part of the copy that they can relate to, particularly mortgage payments, car payments, energy payments, insurance, those sorts of things that are very natural, very normal, those sorts of things. And then we sort of transition there into the next section, which is really it's kind of the realization that the answer to the problem that's in the story is there, and it is available, and this product does offer that solution. So it starts here: the secret to financial freedom was staring me in the face. Okay, so that starts. So we've got a headline, sub-headline, a problem solution story that transition into the start of the solution. Okay, which again is kind of story based, so it keeps people engaged. And then it goes all the way through then down to what the secret is. Okay, in this case, high value content for a micro recurring payment, okay, which is what the newsletter is all about. That's what it does, what it provides you as the seller. So it goes from there, and then it talks about why it works, because again, people need to understand why this solution that you're offering works, and then we're in the system itself. Now, at this point right here, between this part here where we're talking about sort of why it works and how it works, into the introduction of the newsletter as well, there is a section just here that needs to go in. Okay, so this is a part where let me just put something in here. So what I'm talking about is between here, what's going on here? Oh, there we go, and in here, okay, there needs to be a section in here. And that really is all about what the current solutions that are available out there, what they are, and problems with those solutions as well. And then what we do is we then provide an angle which gets people to think about those issues slightly differently, which then introduce and transitions into the introduction of the niche newsletter publishing system, which is what we've called it at this point. Now, we've got some suggestions I'll show you earlier in a few minutes about if you want to rebrand it. Of course, absolutely you can. And there's a good reason for doing that as well, which I'll come to in a little while. All right, so there's a section that's got to go in there, which is all about the solutions to the problems that there are out there right now, and then a different angle, which then transitions into the introduction of the newsletter product itself. Okay, so then we're talking about what it is and what it does, importantly. Okay, and again, getting people to think about it. We're using a lot of kind of NLP hypnotic language in this, using words like imagine and discover, and can you see why, those sorts of things that make people think, oh yeah, that's that's a really good idea. And so that's exactly what they're for. So we use quite a bit of that in this sales letter. So talk through that. So we get into why it's such a good idea, then into the benefits of it as well. All right, which is really important. And then at that point, we start introducing the buy buttons. And then here's everything that you get. All right, so they understand exactly what they're going to be getting. So there's nothing hidden. So this is where you can start getting people to think about the future and think about what can happen once they've started the course and got things going, and how importantly, how easy it is and how simple it is to get started with the newsletter business, because it really is very simple. All right, so you list all of that, all sorts of stuff, and then something here at this point, they're going to be going, oh my goodness me, this sounds like an awful lot. So what you do then at that point is you say, okay, so here's what's on offer, and you start with a negative or what it's not first, and that is absolutely no overwhelm. So again, you're solidifying in their mind that, okay, yeah, this is really simple. This is something that I can actually do, which is what you want to do all the time, is to back that situation up as you're going through. And again, adding in more buy buttons, and then investing today, adding a list of bonuses, and you've got a guarantee, and then I always finish off with a buy button and a kind of a sign off read, which if you've gone through the newsletter course itself, I talk about an introduction and the last part quite a bit, which kind of gives it a start and an end point as a conversation, really. So I always do that on my sales letters as well, is to make sure that there's a kind of a conversational ending and a thank you and all that sort of stuff. And you could even add PSs here, absolutely. And I always end up with a buy button. So that's kind of the layout and the structure of it. So let me scroll back up to the top and let into it in a little bit more detail. So this is something that JP picked up on yesterday when we were talking about this, which is a really valuable point. The name of the product itself right now, again, this was a preliminary which just came out the top of my head when we were doing it, is the niche newsletter publishing sales system. However, what's much better is if you can give it a title that actually tells people what they're going to get. So a benefit title, if you like. So for example, passive recurring publishing system. How good is that? It tells people exactly what it does. And so that's really good. So if you're going to rebrand it, and I suggest you do, then you just replace everywhere where it says niche newsletter publishing system, and it says it quite a few times on here, with whatever title you've given it. Okay, so that's one of the simplest ways of doing it. And then when we come into the headline itself, again, the headline is really, think of it this way: the headline is about what the product, okay, for the person who's buying it, not what it is. It's what it does. Okay, so it's the big benefit with a time frame and what they can get with it. So this is what it does. Here you can start working today, and this is what it does. You'd never have to work again. Those kind of things. So you can kind of construct a headline and a sub-headline for that. just stand out and jump out, so people go, oh yeah, okay, so it piques their interest. That's the important. And then starts off from there with just your kind of letter, really. Now, this structure is something that has been used and tested extensively, and it works really well. But again, it's not absolutely 100%, like a massive sales machine. You've got to tweak it. You've got to make it your own, because a bit like, I suppose, with emails, you kind of got to make a little bit, which is why we talk about rebranding it, just to kind of make it yours. That's really, it's important that you do that, actually. So you kind of then, in the first few paragraphs, as you're blending in the subject line with the sub headline, or the headline with the sub headline, first few paragraphs that then really justify what you're talking about, feel comfortable and make them feel at home, which is why I will start off with a "hi, my name is," or something along those lines. Just give people that kind of personal touch, which I think is really important. Sorry, JP, go ahead.
Yeah, just to add to it, when someone lands on the sales page, they immediately go into defensive mode, because they know they're being sold something. It's kind of the same when you're sending people to a video sales page, because they know basically when they watch the video, they have to expect something. Which is why the headline is really important, because they are already in defensive mode, because they clicked a link in an email or in an ad, so they know what's going next, especially when we are marketing in the internet marketing niche. So they are already in defensive mode, so we need to catch their attention right away and to make sure that they want to read further. So that's the goal of the headline. But then obviously the headline will increase, it will increase their interest, but at the same time, when someone feels more interested, there's some kind of fear growing up inside, because they know, okay, now I might have to purchase this product. So still, it will bring up some more defense and fear, because they have to buy something and normally they don't want, so they fight it. But your job is to get the sale from someone interested in your product. And I think the story is it's why the story that comes after the headline is important, because then you go back to closing the gap between your prospect and yourself, and you do that with a story, and the story, you want the story to resonate with your visitor and with your prospect, and that's how you will step by step. And in fact, it's probably the role of a sales page is just to go to allow your prospect not to fear purchasing your product anymore, and not to be on a defensive mode, but on the contrary, to be really ecstatic about purchasing your product. So that's why you need sometimes probably 50 pages to turn someone from a defensive mode and fearful into someone really happy to be on that page and to purchase your product. And the same for a video. That's why you will see some products being sold on ClickBank, and the video is like 90 minutes long, 90. So 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's like a movie, and it's not that bad. I mean, it works. So obviously they're doing things right. But when you think at it, I mean, most movies could probably be turned into 5 or 10 minutes movies. If you wanted to summarize like a movie, you could take 90 minutes into 10 minutes just to have the highlights. And but if you were just to sit down and to watch during 10 minutes, at the end of the 10 minutes, you would say, wow, that's it. And so it will slip through your mind, and it won't be anything special. And that's exactly where you want to go. You want your product to become something special in the life of your prospect, whatever you're selling. And to do that, you need some time and you need to build some rapport, and which is why you need to go really step by step, understand where your prospect is right now, in what kind of mindset and mental state he's in, because you want to take him from where he is to where you want him to be, and basically be happy to click and purchase the product. And that's what Paul said. You know, we'd use some word like imagine and anything to future pace your prospects, so they can imagine already using the product and getting results with your product, which is basically what you want. Because when someone is already picturing himself, I don't know, for example, driving a car and you know, showing off if it's what he's after. So your role is to identify the right triggers and just, you know, infuse all these triggers step by step, and completely switch your prospect mindset from defensive and fearful mode into a happy buyer and customer. So these two parts, the headline and the story, are really important, because that's exactly where it all starts.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of add to that as well, if you think about the kind of language that you use when you're writing the content as well, and some of the things, the real life examples that you're pulling from to illustrate, they need to be words that the everyday person uses, or at least your target audience uses. Because, you know, let me give you a classic example. If I'm trying to sell, I don't know, a medical product to doctors, then the language that I'm going to be using to do that is going to be radically different to what I'm doing for what we've got on here. So you kind of have to keep that in mind as well. But equally, when you're constructing the story, the that you're using of things in everyday life that bring your story to life need to be simple things that, again, your target audience is used to using. And in this example, we talk about a job, which most people will have or will have had, and then a bank account and a bank statement, you know, and most adults, certainly the people that we're targeting, will have had all three of those probably. So it's that you need to keep that in mind as well. And those, you know, those sorts of things resonate with people, and it keeps it. And I suppose really the job of the flow to the whole itself, you need to be pulling your reader down through each sentence, into each paragraph, to each bullet point. Certainly these bullet points, really, these sort of subheadings rather than bullet points, I should say, these subheadings can also tell a story on their own. You know, you can read through the subheadings and give you a kind of a second story, if you're enough to do that, which is always a really good thing to do. And all the time, what you want to be doing is you want to be bringing people back to try and get them to confirm that they understand what you're going, what you're heading towards, and where you're from. So, you know, sentences like this, you know, does that sound familiar? Because it makes people think, oh yeah, it does. I see what you're saying, and that then means they want to read more. So it works quite well in that respect. And again, you know, targeting sort of the average person who's got the average bills, you know, mortgage payments, car payments, insurance, etc., those sorts of things. And then again, the into where the idea for the product came from comes from something, and has come from something that they are used to using themselves. So the bank statement, and if you haven't looked at your bank statement for a while, go and have a look. So again, you're bringing them back into their own lives as well, and illustrate there is something that they can pull from it that they're very familiar and happy with. So yeah, and then we kind of transition from there then into how it all came, and you're kind of illustrating again simple that this whole process has become from looking at something that they used to looking at, i.e. their bank statement in this respect. So yeah, that's really how it works. And then when you're transitioning, where are we going here? When you're transitioning here, what we're doing at this point, it's a bit like we've talked about this before when we were writing emails. You've got your subject line, and then you've got your tie-in, and then you've got your story or education or what you've got, and then you've got the segue, which is the transition from your story or your education into talking about the product itself. That is the same here. It's here. With this, what you talk about is what they've already seen potentially, and perhaps they've not had success with using that. And at that point, you say, well, it's really not your fault, because in most cases it's not. Difficult for most people. And then you start talking about what the normal solutions that they've perhaps seen in the past, and then you give them your angle, which nicely segues or transitions into introducing your product itself. And then from there, it's all about the benefits, not features. It's really about the benefits. The features you call in when you talk about what they get. But what you want to do, really, rather than just list features, you want to talk about the benefits of those features, if that makes sense. So rather than think about benefits and features separately, benefits you can do, because again, it really justifies and pulls in from the subject line or the headline at the very beginning. But in terms of the features, you don't just want to list things that the product's got, about what those features do, okay, and how they're going to benefit from those features. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is they just list features, and those aren't really the things that are going to sell the product. It's going to be, as JP was saying earlier on, it's getting people to think about already using the product themselves. And the way that you do that is you talk to their emotions, because it's very much an emotional journey, which is what we're pulling them down through as they're going down through the copy. So you're appealing to those emotions with the benefits. Okay, the logic and the justification for their emotion saying, yes, I want to buy it, comes in when you're pricing it. Okay, so it kind of talks about that way. So here are a few more benefits. Yes, we talk about benefits all the time and what they're actually going to get. Okay, so a deep dive into why recurring payments work. Finding your newsletter's niche. So that's a feature. We've got that with an extensive topic list to download to choose from if you're not sure where to start. So now they're thinking, okay, so I'm going to worry too much about, thinking too hard about what I'm going to write about. They're going to give me some examples. So that's what I'm talking about all the time. You've got the benefit of that feature right there. And then, yeah, really. And so from there, you're taking more pressure off them at this, because by now they're probably thinking, that seems like an awful lot. It's an awful lot of work. It's an awful lot of things to set up. So you've got to take that pressure off, really, and reassure them, so they're not going to be overwhelmed, that you're going to keep things very simple. It's not going to be very complicated. I mean, I could put in there that, this is ideal for new marketers or people who are newbies or whatever you want to call them. I could have put that in there. So you could, of course, as well. Absolutely. So, and again, what you're doing now is just telling them what to do and what they're going to get if they do it. So you're now starting to ramp up let's start taking some action now. Okay, so then what we've got here is a classic. This is a kind of a webinar technique, actually, the with and without. You can either go and do it out on your own, which is going to be hard. Doing it the first time with the course. So it's a classic webinar technique that is used, and it works very well on newsletters, or rather on sales letters and newsletters, actually, on sales letters as well. And then, of course, when you come down now, you've got your buy button, and then, of course, a list of bonuses. Okay, because again, for those people who are on the fence, list some bonuses. It could be your time. We've talked about that plenty of times before. The best bonus is you, and giving them some of your time, or bonuses that are actually going to complement the course itself. You know, there might be some software, you know, it might be a headline checker software or something like that. You see what I'm saying? That complements them as you know, when they use it, going through the course, that makes the course for them easier to run with. And then, of course, there's a guarantee. Now, I always put this: I gladly refund your purchase within the first 30 days of the purchase date. Okay, always put that in there, because that stops somebody from buying it in January and trying to get a refund in July. If you see what I mean. So you put that within that first 30 days, so it kind of works. And then we've got the thank you for your time at the end. With your name, just like you would sign off an email, something like that. You could add, as I said earlier on, a PS, again, with more justification, more reasons and more benefits, and then finish off with a buy button. And so that's kind of where we're going. So all the time you're drawing them down through a story, from a wide funnel at the top where you're talking about the problems, bringing them down closer into the solutions, way into your product, and then they come out at the end and they hit your buy button. That's essentially what we try to do with a sales letter. Did you want to add anything, JP, to that?
No, I think it's great. We covered it. I mean, it's not a copywriting course, but at least you get some ideas on how you should think at a sales letter, what the main principles, as we discussed at the beginning. It's mostly a psychological process to turn someone reluctant to buy your stuff into someone happy to buy it. Which is why conversion rate on the page would be like 3, 5, 10% if you're good. No more, because most people, you know, they will never just buy, or at least not right away. And which is why if you have a giveaway, and then you can, you know, follow up during 5, 10, 30 days. And at some point, people will know you, or, you know, some people, they can buy right away because they don't care. They just want the shortcut, the knowledge. And but for some people, it's like you're asking them to jump off the top of a building just to buy a new. So it's really the same, you know. They will need like probably 2 years. Some we need 2 years just to buy something from you. As I said, I had people on my list probably since 2004, 5, and they just purchased one product from me in 2020. So it took them like 15 years. It means that maybe I did not have the right product for them before, although I probably launched like 200s. But probably they were not ready with what we wanted to do. But it can, someone can buy just right away. It will be like 3-4%. And with time, you want to increase that conversion rate with all means possible, be it in your emails, social medias, in your products as well, because your products will build loyalty to your future products, because people will understand where you're going and the kind of value they can derive from your products. But that's always the same. On the sales page, on the video, on the webinar, on the phone script, in your emails, and on the long run is to take someone from where it is to someone who will trust you and will be able to buy your product. So it's just a different framework if it's a sales page or if it's a 3 years process. And that's why when you think at it that way, then you really understand, okay, so I need to really guide my prospects step by step so they understand exactly what's in it for them. That's the headline, where I come from, that's the story, where the idea come from. So you transition from your story to the idea. What's the current problems and solutions can be, and you show them, you understand their problems and you understand there are some solutions, but you acknowledge as well that these solutions are a bit of a problem because they don't really solve the problem the way it should be. So then
that's that bit there, isn't it, JP? Sorry, that bit goes in there.
Yeah, that would be in there. So and then you introduce, I don't know, a new mechanism by which they would be able, or they could be able to solve their problem. And of course, your solution is the solution that will match what's not solved currently with the other solutions. And so that's where you transition into your product. And then, of course, you need to reassure people. So you future pace them when they start using your product. You really give a lot of benefits, what it can do for them, how it works, how can they get started, what to do in the next steps, exactly everything they get, like all the videos, what each video will teach them. As we discussed last week, in the book, you can say, okay, on page 47, you will learn that. You could say, okay, on video 3, at the 5-minute mark, we will reveal exactly why that and that. So it's a way to future pace your people, and also to for them to understand that it's they get something for real. It kind of the idea is to give a life to your product before they can even have an objection to, okay, how does it look like? So you give it a life in their mind. So it's like they are already inside your product and consuming your product when you can say something like that, on page 47 or on video 5, module 2, video 2, 5 minutes mark, you're already infused your product in the mind of your prospect. And that's a way to switch someone from being reluctant to buy your product into a positive mindset to get your product. And and then you will start closing and calling to action, because what everything you've been doing since the beginning of the sales page at some point needs a stop. It's not just about talking and talking. At some point you need to get people to take action, and at some point on your sales page you're ready to ask for a click and say, okay, now we understand, okay, you can buy, and here is a link to buy, and then you continue because it's someone still reading, so it means they need some more reassurance or information, like bonuses, a guarantee, more sales copy to raise and kill some objections, all that kind of stuff. So that's why normally a sales page never ends when you see the first call to action. Just like a webinar, or it's like you don't take a no for an answer. So if someone does not click, you don't buy right away. You say, okay, but maybe I was not. I did not explain well enough, so you go on and on and on. And at some point, you just say, okay, if you don't want it, then that's it. So you end your sales page. So yeah, that's how it works. I think we drop a link to that sales page maybe tomorrow when it's even if it's in progress, but so you can see. You can read it on your own, and then we'll start turning it into a sales page in Studio, so you can use it. But you feel free to also try to convert it in Studio, and so you get used to using the Studio and to create a sales page. And also just by manipulating the text, you will read it even more and feel how it flows, and
improve on it, JP. Really, isn't it? Really, from what you just said, particularly about future pacing with specific examples of specific video that needs to be included and added in. Again, future pacing all the way through. So yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah, and now you understand why. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. We asked you when we gave you access to all the videos, and we told you, okay, now we can watch all the videos, and you write all the bullet points for each video. And that's part of it, because then you can introduce and you can add as many as you want, and say, and yeah, on that video at that point, you will learn, and you go back to your bullet points, and you will add 2 to 3 bullet points. 1 minute 30 seconds, that's what you will learn. 2 minutes and 50, that's what you will learn. Because then, I mean, at some point you will see, oh, wow, that's amazing. I will learn so many stuff. So I need to buy it because it will become real, and they will really know you know what you're talking about, and you're willing to help, and you will close that bridge between you and your prospect. So if you've not done the work yet, you should go back to the videos and try to write down as many bullet points as you can. Yeah. And because then it will be helpful for you as well when you want to tweak the sales page and add to it, and well, yeah, you can always improve a sales page anyway. Just a matter of testing it.
Yeah, yeah. Something I wanted to actually mention as well. Let me just scroll down a bit. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Okay. So down here at the bottom, I don't know if you guys know much about different types of buy buttons or add to cart buttons or something like that. One of the most famous designs of call to action buttons is called a Belcher button. You can Google that and go and have a look at it. But essentially, it's got a dotted line around the outside. It's got a big add to cart or buy now button with a yellow background and blue text, and it's got some justification text above it. And then just below that, generally speaking, what he does is he puts click here to buy in the same blue that they use for kind of hypertext links in emails and things like that. Because, you know, believe it or not, some people won't click on the big yellow button, but they will click on the little blue text. So that's something else that goes in there. So what I've done is I'll put that there, so you can by all means try that. But what I did was I just put this little line here, down here, click here to invest in your future within niche newsletter publishing system, and sort of taking that idea and running with it. So it's in smaller text, so you could kind of make that blue as if it's a hyperlink, you know, that kind of, I don't know what the hex code is for it, but I'm sure you could find that and make it that blue, which makes it look like a clickable link, and just make it clickable. So it goes through to, you know, your invoice page or however you're going to do it. Yeah, so experiment when we're talking about optimization, play with the button design, the button colors, and, you know, these little what's going on with those sorts of things. So yeah, that's something I just wanted to put on there. Again, if presets up an optimization test to see what gets clicked and when. Yeah, so I just wanted to add that, JP.
Yeah, no, really good. So I don't know if you guys have any questions about what we just did, about sales copy or about the course. Just feel free to use our time. We still have some time, so if you have any questions.
Let me stop sharing because I can't see any text, any questions or anything on my end.
No, we don't have questions so far.
Okay.
We have a quiet group today.
Must be doing a good job.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, questions, or it's all fine, or it's all over the moon. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the point is, you know, this stuff, it just works, you know, and it's the simplicity of it that gives it its beauty, really. And because we can automate all of this, you know, once you've got a sales page set up, and, you know, your autoresponder, rather your email sequence set up in email funnels, you know, you just send traffic. Again, it's just the same as if you would be, you know, sending it to funnel 1 or funnel 2. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the reality of it is, it might, if it's the first time you've ever done it, it might take you, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours to do a sales page. But once you've done it once, it gets much easier. And I think I mentioned this before a couple of weeks ago. Whenever I'm writing sales copy or designing a sales page, they all look the same. It's template. What's the word? It's a template. So, you know, it's just much easier, and you can put this stuff out much more quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, as you say, just taking action starting. Yeah, we had a comment, someone saying, okay, yeah, just joined 8 days ago, and I will focus on the first funnel. Yeah, exactly. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
We have like a lot of trainings and sessions covering the first funnel. But if you have any questions about your setup, or if you had any issue, just ask us. It's true that we are moving forward, and sometimes we are doing, like a recap for new users, so we can catch up without, going through all the previous sessions. But we can always go back to the roots and start showing you exactly how to use the first funnel. But yeah, since we have a lot of sessions, it's advisable to have a look at some of these sessions, which go into the details of setting up your funnels, driving the traffic, where to buy it, the emails, the swipes to use, and so it's all really done. So, but yeah, don't hesitate if you have any questions. Yeah, and let me show this one.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely classic. I've been guilty of that many times myself in the past. Yeah, absolutely. The thing that changed for me, I bought a copywriting book. It was called The Rule of One. You could probably get it on Amazon. It's a really good book on copywriting. It's very simple, and it takes people through a similar sort of process to what we've been through today, and how it works and why it works. But the key is, it's the rule of one. You've got one idea, one message, and you follow that, and you just do one funnel with one follow-up sequence, that sort of stuff. So you're quite right. It's just focus on one thing at a time. I mean, you've probably seen it. And people have said in the past, with you get a product, and all of a sudden they give you a ton of different ways of getting free traffic from forums and Facebook and LinkedIn and Pinterest and Twitter and blah blah blah. And all of a sudden you think, oh, that's just far too much. That it's entirely possible. But if they said, rather than giving you half a dozen different methods, if they just said, right, this is how you drive traffic from Facebook, just do this, and you're just doing one thing. You get to master that one thing before you move on. So it's absolutely right. It's one of the worst weaknesses, is to try and do a number of different projects in parallel, because it's that Chinese saying, if you chase two rabbits at the same time, you won't catch either of them. So it's the same thing, so yeah, absolutely one thing and a rule of one. Stick to that.
Yeah, and don't move until you are good at it. So just make it work. So, and it works. For example, Michael here got 10 trials, sign-ups in the past few days. We have Harry as well. Yeah. We have some other members. In the past, I'm not sure they kept going on. I don't know why. It's so. I think that our system is so easy to use. But if you want to make it work on the long run, you need to commit yourself to using the system and making it work for you, because the more leads you get, the more commissions you will get, and with all these leads you get through your funnels, well, you will get clicks from these leads and from your emails. So you can turn these clicks into commissions and into sales. And so the more leads you get, the more commissions and sales and revenue you will earn from your leads. So it's just something to grow up, and by communicating with your leads, you will even improve that over time, because with time people will start reading more and more of your content. You will email them some good offers. Some will be your own traffic, your own offers, like the newsletter, video course. Some have already grabbed, for example, our reseller license to the iMasterclass program. So you could also email your leads with your reseller links, and or just affiliate programs. But so the more leads you get, the more content you send to those leads, you will get more and more opens and clicks, and so that's the kind of process you need to follow through, and it's not just 1 week or 2 weeks, because it's a business. So when you understand, okay, I have the tools, the content, and the processes. So there's an input and an output. So the input will be the traffic, and it goes through the process, which is your landing pages, your backend funnels, your other funnels, your email sequences, and the output is your commission. So you add traffic at one point, and you get some commissions. And in the middle, we basically provided all the tools and all the content you need, and we keep providing it. So we add some more, more steps in the processes. So even by just having the same input, your output will be much bigger and bigger. And so it's just not 1 week, because it's self regenerating, because your leads will also you can use your leads to for referrals, or to run some contest or some reward when they share your content. Then you can imagine whatever you want. So yeah, it's, if you do it, you should see it really as a business, and really commit to it for weeks and months. And then it's like a game, because anyway it works, and you see I'm getting leads, I'm getting trial signups, commissions. Now I can resell my own products. You already have access to nearly 2 products you can resell as your own, so you will be able to monetize your leads, and so on and so on. So it's just the beginning, and when you get some results, and even when you don't get some results, you need to find a way to make it work. And if you don't, we can help you. That's the goal of these sessions. And yeah, we've tried to design this program in the simplest way.
I think enjoy it. That's one of the things. What I suppose what I like about this is you have the choice of spending as much time on this as you want. As JP said, once you've got everything set up and sending traffic, that's it. Your job is pretty much done. It's just a matter of getting, sending more traffic. It is kind of a numbers game in that respect. I suppose really the enjoyment for me particularly is, when it works, that's fantastic. I want to do more of that. So I might buy more traffic from the same person or something like that. But equally, when it doesn't work, the data that you get back tells you where the problems are. So for example, let's say that your emails aren't getting opened. Okay, so you've got to test your subject lines. It's the subject lines that gets people to open the emails. If you're not getting the people to click through to the sales page, it's your copy or your call to action. So all the time, whatever, good or bad, you are finding out, and you're getting feedback, and you're kind of getting the information that you need to know what to do, how to move forwards. And that condenses the amount of time that you have to spend, or that you need to spend, or want to spend on your business. If I'm honest, I could probably run my entire business in an hour, maybe hour and a half a day if I wanted to. I like what we do. So we spend more time, JP and I spend a lot of time together improving things for you guys, because it's what we love to do. We try to make things work. We know what works, so we put something together that actually works, so that when we can present it to you guys, you've then got something to take and look at, to get data from, and feedback to us, and then together we can improve things. So it's a really good journey. It's something that it's not like a job, thank goodness. It is something that, like the newsletters, I suppose, it's a passion. It's something that you enjoy doing, and you really should enjoy doing it because of the amount of freedom that it can give you. And when you do it right, my goodness, it's something special. It really is.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, to answer that questions, yeah, we do have emails. We are also running, maybe you've noticed it, I announced it in the iPhones group. I will do free live sessions for iPhones. We'll see how we organize things. But yeah, so since we got more trial users, we add more channels, and more training. So as I said, to next 3 days, we have 1 live session a day. So any new member can join us, or even previous member. But so we'll go through everything you can do with iPhone also, and we have some communication channels in place. Yes, Ellie, I've seen your message. Yeah, I will get back to you. But so okay, so if you have, we are kind of at the end of this presentation, but yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, the usual reminders: you can use a Facebook group to interact with us, interact with others, and share your results, your feedbacks, your questions, so we can have more material for the next live session. And yes, I mean, if you don't take action, it's hard for us to help you. So go back to your main funnel, because without leads, what we are doing right now to sell your product won't be really helpful, because you need some people to market your leads to. And to date, and it was the same 20 years ago when I started, email marketing is still the highest converting channel you will ever find. So it beats Facebook, LinkedIn, any channel, Messenger, any channel you can think of. Email marketing is still better than any of those. So if you don't build your list, you're basically not building your online business.
Yeah.
That's about it. So.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you have technical issue with GetResponse, just please follow up with your support ticket. I'm not sure. Yeah, so thank you. Stay safe. Yeah, sorry for me. I won't get my vax. I won't fall for all the fear and anxiety the world is trying to put on us, and so vaccine is not for me, and hopefully not for you. And anyways, there's no vaccine yet. So, but yeah, you have to stay strong, get a good immune system, and yeah, we get through it. And with positive mind, so work in your business. Yeah, get some results, and it will just throw away all the anxiety and negative ideas and thoughts. So, and it boosts, because negative ideas have an impact on your immune system. So the more negative ideas you have, the less immune you are to external environment. So it's important to just think positive and get some work done and get some results.
That's it.
Okay, so thank you everyone, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Stay safe. Have a good week.